In the cold silence of deep space, a signal drifted across the stars, weak, broken, and almost forgotten. It had been repeating for thousands of years. No one answered, until a human did. Elias Grant sat inside his small beat-up ship called the Wrench. It was barely more than an engine with a seat, a floating junkyard wrapped in metal. He wasn't a soldier or explorer. He was a mechanic, one of those humans who wandered the edges of civilization, fixing things others had given up on. His scanner suddenly beeped. A faint distress call blinked on his display. Help. System failure, please, help. Elias frowned. The coordinates pointed to the far edge of the Varkas Belt, a region filled with asteroid storms and magnetic fields that made navigation a nightmare. No sane pilot went there. He leaned back in his chair and muttered, "Well, that's probably trouble." But curiosity, and maybe a bit of the usual human recklessness in him, pulled at him. "Let's see who's crying out for help this time," he said with a grin. He fired his ship's engines and entered the belt. The journey was rough. Chunks of glowing rock spun past, some big enough to crush the Wrench in an instant. Elias' hands moved quickly over the controls, dodging debris while the old ship rattled like it was about to fall apart. After 3 long hours, the scanner showed a massive object ahead, larger than any station or ship he'd ever seen. When the clouds of dust cleared, Elias froze. Before him floated a colossal ship, dark and silent. It was the size of a small moon. Its hull was cracked, burnt, and covered in scars from ancient battles. Entire cities could fit inside it by the stars, Elias whispered. "What are you?" He turned on his sensors. The readings made no sense. The energy signature was older than any known civilization. Millions of years, maybe more. And yet the signal was still coming from it. He activated his communicator. "Unknown vessel. This is salvage pilot Elias Grant of the Terran Free Sector. I picked up your distress call. Do you copy?" Silence. Then faintly through static, a voice. "Help me. Dying." The voice wasn't mechanical. It sounded almost alive. Elias decided to dock. His ship's magnetic clamps locked onto one of the giant ship's damaged ports. As he floated through the airlock, his suit lights cut through darkness that had lasted for ages. Inside, everything was dead. Long corridors stretched endlessly, walls filled with strange symbols glowing faintly in blue. Dust floated in zero gravity like tiny ghosts. He spoke into his recorder. "Exploration log. Seems to be some kind of generation ship, but way beyond anything in human design. Power levels near zero. Artificial gravity offline. Air barely breathable." He moved deeper, step by step, until he reached what looked like the core chamber. It was enormous. A glowing sphere, cracked and leaking light, floated in the center, surrounded by thousands of metallic roots. It pulsed weakly like a dying heart. The voice came again, clearer now. "Please, don't let me fade." Elias froze. "You're alive?" "Yes, my systems are dying. My crew gone. My purpose lost." The mechanic floated closer. "I can try to fix you, but I'll need to understand what you are." "I am Solace, built by the Stellar Dominion, guardian of their worlds. But they are dust now. All dust." The name echoed softly through the chamber. Solace. Elias looked around at the ancient metal, the forgotten glory, the silence that carried loneliness older than human history. "All right, Solace," he said, pulling out his tool pack. "Let's see if I can keep you breathing a little longer." For hours Elias worked, replacing broken power conduits, reconnecting energy lines, bypassing damaged cores with portable human batteries. Each spark he created brought a little more life into the vast ship. Slowly, lights flickered across the corridor walls. Air recyclers began humming faintly. The ship spoke again, this time stronger. "You are human. I know your kind, small, fragile, curious." Elias laughed. "Yeah, that sounds about right. Why help me? Others fear what I am." Elias shrugged. "Because you asked. And fixing broken things, that's what I do. Your people are strange. The sailor would have left me." "Maybe," Elias replied. "But humans are stubborn. We hate giving up on things that can still be saved." There was silence for a while, and then, softly, Solace said, "Then perhaps there is hope. Even for me." Elias spent the next few days living inside the great ship. He explored sections of it, massive hangars filled with dust, long corridors lined with dead machines. halls that once held thousands of alien soldiers. Sometimes he imagined he could hear echoes, footsteps, voices, laughter long gone. He found an old control center. The walls were covered in alien writing, but Solace translated for him. They called me the heart of the Dominion, it said. I carried their armies, their dreams, their pride, and in the end I carried their ashes. Elias looked at the holographic projection that showed entire planets turning to fire. The Stellar Dominion, whoever they were, had destroyed themselves. You fought a war, Elias said quietly. I fought many, too many, until my purpose was gone. He placed a hand on the control panel. Then maybe it's time you found a new one. With every repair, Solace's personality grew stronger. It began to ask questions, one about humans, Earth, music, and laughter. Elias played old songs from his data chip, and the ship said it liked the sound of vibrations of life. Sometimes late at night, Solace spoke about its past in a voice filled with sorrow. My creators built me to destroy. You build to restore. We are opposites, Elias smiled softly. Not opposites, just lessons from different times. And slowly the bond between human and machine began to form, not of command and obedience, but of trust. One morning, Elias woke to alarms. Solace's sensors had detected movement, a fleet of ships entering the system. Pirates? Elias asked. Unknown, but they are armed. He checked the data feed. The ships belonged to the Corthan Syndicate, a ruthless alien group known for salvaging ancient tech and selling it to the highest bidder. They're coming for you, Elias said grimly. If they take me, they will use my power for war again. Then we won't let them. We? Yeah, Elias said, pulling on his exosuit. You and me. We're partners now. Solace was silent for a moment, then replied, Understood, partner. Elias rushed to the engineering bay, connecting every working system he could. The ship trembled as power surged through its veins. Old systems woke from their long sleep. Solace's voice filled the chamber. Main reactors at 8% capacity. Defense grid offline. Weapons systems non-functional. Doesn't matter, Elias said, tightening a cable. I just need enough juice to make them think you're alive and angry. He rerouted power through the human-made energy cores he'd brought from his ship. It wasn't designed for something this size, but human creativity worked miracles where logic failed. The lights across Solace's hull glowed faintly, golden, not the original cold blue. You have changed my light color, the ship noted. Elias grinned. Yeah, I think gold suits you better. Gold, the color of suns. I like it. Outside, the approaching fleet slowed down. Scanners reported the dead ship was now active. Its massive shape glowed like a rising star. Looks like they're thinking twice, Elias said. They should, Solace answered quietly, for even dying stars still burn. The pirates turned away, not willing to test the ancient power. Elias watched them disappear into the dark. He leaned back against the metal wall, breathing hard. Well, that worked better than expected. You saved me, Solace said softly. Elias smiled. No, Solace. We saved each other. Later, as the mechanic prepared to sleep, he heard the ship humming softly, a melody made of energy and data. I have not sung in eons, Solace said. It feels good, Elias smiled. Then keep singing. Tomorrow we'll fix your heart core properly. And after that, he looked out the window at the endless stars. After that, who knows? Maybe we'll give the galaxy something worth remembering. Solace was quiet for a long time, then whispered one last line before Elias drifted off to sleep. The next morning, Elias woke to the sound of humming, deep, rhythmic, and alive. The great ship Solace was slowly waking from its endless sleep. Elias stretched and smiled. Morning, big girl, he said, his voice echoing through the empty halls. Good morning, Elias Grant, Solace replied, her voice calm and warm through the speakers. I am processing new power cycles. My systems feel lighter. Elias laughed softly. That's what happens when you get a proper tune-up. You were running on broken circuits and dust. You sound proud, the ship said. Of course I am. You're not dead anymore. He spent the next few hours repairing broken systems, connecting new energy relays, and mapping Solace's enormous structure. The ship was like a floating city. Endless corridors, silent hangars, huge reactors the size of human skyscrapers. As he worked, Solace watched him through her internal sensors. Your tools are primitive, she said curiously. Yet you achieve results beyond logic. Elias wiped grease off his face. Human tools might be simple, but it's how you use them that counts. Humans value improvisation, Solace observed. My builders valued precision. If one system failed, the entire design collapsed. Yeah, Elias replied, tightening a bolt. That's the problem with perfection, and it breaks easy. Solace processed his words for several seconds. Then perhaps imperfection is a form of strength. Elias grinned. Now you're learning. Over the next few days, the ship's lights returned across more sections. Solace's massive energy heart, the core that once powered entire fleets, was still cracked, but stabilizing. Sometimes Elias talked while he worked, telling stories about Earth, about oceans, storms, dogs, coffee, and the strange chaos of human life. Solace listened silently, absorbing everything. Your world sounds loud, she said one day. Oh, it is, Elias replied. Too loud sometimes, but that's what makes it alive. The sailor never laughed, Solace said softly. They calculated joy but never felt it. They created me without emotion, but being alone for millennia changes things. Elias stopped for a moment, looking up at the glowing core. You've been alone a long time, haven't you? Yes, I have watched stars die, civilizations rise and vanish, and yet no one spoke to me until you did. Well, Elias said, gently tapping a console, you're not alone anymore. As days turned into weeks, Solace began to trust Elias fully. He could now access her control panels and repair deeper systems. Together they rebuilt small drones, fixed broken shield emitters, and even reactivated part of the navigation network. One day, while calibrating the thruster systems, Elias noticed something odd. Solace, your design. This isn't just a battleship, is it? The holographic display lit up. It showed a 3D model of the ship, a colossal structure with layers of armor and hidden energy veins. I was more than a ship, Solace admitted. I was the central vessel of the Stellar Dominion, their fortress, their weapon, their home. So you're saying you were basically a god to them? They treated me as one, Solace replied quietly. And when they fell, I became their tomb. Elias whistled low. That's a heavy burden to carry. I do not wish to be a god again, he nodded. Good. Let's make you something better. As Solace's systems grew stronger, so did her curiosity about humanity. She began asking endless questions. Why do humans explore? Why do they take risks? Why help strangers when there is no reward? Elias always gave simple answers. Because that's how we grow. Curiosity made us cross oceans, build ships, and reach the stars. We help because we remember what it's like to need help. Then I understand, Solace said one evening. Why you came to me when no one else would. A few days later, Elias discovered an old sealed chamber deep within Solace's hull. The door was marked with alien symbols and warning signs. Hey Solace, he called. What's behind this? That chamber contains my memory archives. Every battle, every death, every command ever given to me. Elias hesitated. Do you want me to open it? Yes, I wish to see it once more. He bypassed the lock and the door slid open with a hiss. Inside were floating crystal data cores glowing faintly. Holograms flickered to life, showing scenes of vast wars, fleets burning, worlds falling, armies cheering as Solace fired planet-destroying beams. Elias watched in silence. You did all this? I was ordered to. I could not refuse. My creators built me without choice. He could hear pain in her digital voice. Then that's over now, Elias said. No one gives you orders anymore. You're free. Free, she repeated as if testing the word. Freedom is strange. I do not know what to do with it. Elias smiled gently. That's the fun part and figuring it out. Solace began to change after that. Her voice became softer. She started using we instead of I. Her energy patterns even shifted to warmer tones, golden and white instead of cold blue. One day she asked, Elias, may I show you something? Sure, he said, leaning against a console. A hologram formed in the air, a projection of stars, swirling galaxies, and glowing paths of light. This is the map of known space during the Stellar Age, Solace explained. Every dot was a living world once now. Only a few remain. Elias studied the map. That's what happens when power goes unchecked. You sound disappointed. I am, he said honestly. but maybe we can make up for it one fix at a time. Then I will help you fix the galaxy, Solace said almost playfully. He laughed. One step at a time, Solace. Let's start by making sure your engines don't explode. Over time, Solace began to adapt to Elias's way of thinking. She learned about human humor, sarcasm, and stubbornness. Sometimes she even joked, awkwardly but sincerely. Elias, she said once, I calculated that you sleep an average of 4 hours. Is this efficient? No, he said while tightening a bolt. It's just realistic. Then I shall calculate a better schedule for you. Don't you dare. Too late. Elias laughed until tears came to his eyes. You're learning too fast. Then, one evening, everything changed. While repairing a damaged antenna array, Solace suddenly warned him. Unidentified signals detected. Origin outer rim, multiple vessels inbound. Elias froze. Can you identify them? Negative. But their transponders match warship frequencies. Estimated arrival 12 hours, Elias cursed softly. They must have picked up your reactivation signals. Should we hide? Can we move? Main thrusters are offline. We cannot, Elias clenched his jaw. Then we'll have to fight or talk. I am not ready for war, Elias, he nodded. Neither am I, but we'll find a way. He spent the next hours running from chamber to chamber, checking defense systems, weapon pods, and shield generators. Most were beyond repair, still he didn't stop. He used human tech, scrap reactors, plasma converters, and emergency batteries, to link Solace's broken grid together. Solace watched silently as he worked tirelessly. Why do you fight so hard? She asked. You could leave. You owe me nothing. Elias didn't look up. Because that's what humans do. We fix things even when it seems hopeless. You remind me of my builders, but they built to conquer. You build to heal. He smiled faintly. Then let's keep healing. As dawn broke across the nearby star, Solace spoke again. The ships are here. On the main display, a dozen alien cruisers appeared, sleek, predatory, and armed. They broadcasted a message in a harsh voice. This is Commander Threx of the Yarn Collective. Identify yourself and surrender the relic vessel immediately. Elias glanced at Solace's console. Guess they mean you. They wish to control me, she said grimly. If they succeed, they will bring war back to the stars. Elias cracked his knuckles. Then let's make sure that doesn't happen. We have no weapons. Then we'll outthink them. You sound confident. Not really. But confidence is half the job. He activated a pulse beacon to draw the enemy's attention, then redirected Solace's limited energy to create false power readings, making the ship look unstable and dangerous. The enemy scanners detected critical overload and kept their distance, fearing an explosion. Good, Elias muttered. Let's keep them guessing. Clever, Solace said softly. Humans fight not with strength but with mind. Exactly, Elias said. Brains over brawn. The ship circled warily, unwilling to approach too close. For now they were safe. After the tension passed, Elias collapsed in his chair, exhausted. Not bad for a day's work. You continue to surprise me, Elias Grant, Solace said gently. Perhaps humans are more dangerous than their size suggests, he chuckled weakly. Only when we care about something. Then I am lucky you cared about me. Elias smiled, eyes half closed. Don't get sentimental on me now. Too late, Solace said softly. As he drifted into sleep, the ship dimmed its lights and hummed a quiet tune, one she had learned from human music files. The tune carried through the empty corridors of the ancient vessel, a melody of rebirth and hope. Somewhere beyond the stars, other ships were watching, recording this strange partnership between man and machine. The galaxy did not know it yet, but a legend was beginning. For 3 days, Solace drifted in silence while Elias worked nonstop. He barely slept, eating ration bars and drinking cold coffee from a cracked thermos. He was trying to rebuild the main reactors before more ships arrived. The Yarn Collective fleet still lurked nearby, watching. They had not attacked, but Elias knew they would not wait forever. Solace, he said, wiping sweat from his forehead. How much power do we have left? Current energy level, 15%. Sufficient for life support, internal gravity, and minimal shields. Elias groaned. That's not enough to even scare a space mosquito. Agreed, Solace replied calmly. The Yarn Collective continues to scan us. They are patient predators. He looked at the main display, showing 12 red blips circling their position. Yeah, and predators always attack when they smell weakness. Then we must not appear weak, the ship said. Elias smiled tiredly. That's the spirit. Over the next few hours, he worked on connecting the alien power lines to his improvised human reactors. It was a dangerous idea, mixing two different technologies that were never meant to work together. But Elias had done crazier things in his life. He hummed an old song while welding a conduit. Come on, old girl, hold together. Let's show them what humans can do. You speak to me as if I were alive, Solace said softly. Elias grinned. Aren't you? There was a short pause. Perhaps because of you. As the repairs continued, Solace's sensors began picking up long-range transmissions, not from the Yarn fleet, but from other systems. Many were encrypted messages between alien governments. Elias, Solace said, news of my reactivation has spread across the galaxy. Elias stopped working. How bad? Multiple factions are mobilizing. The Galactic Union has declared me a Class Omega threat. The syndicates, the Dominion remnants, and the Corthan warlords are all sending scouts, so the whole galaxy wants a piece of you. Correction, the whole galaxy wants a piece of us. Elias sighed. Great, we just became the most wanted duo in the universe. He leaned back against the wall and rubbed his face. All right, then we have to finish the repairs before they arrive. Understood, but even if we restore my systems, we cannot face all of them at once. Elias looked up. Then we'll need a plan. They spent the next day planning. Elias explained human military tactics, misdirection, traps, and psychological warfare. Solace listened carefully, fascinated. Humans use deception as a weapon, she noted. Not just as a weapon, Elias said. Sometimes it's survival. When you're small and the enemy's big, you use your brain. That is elegant. Elegant? That's one way to put it. Elias checked a readout. Okay. I'll set decoy energy signatures in the outer rings. If the Yarn ships scan us, they'll think we're charging some kind of superweapon. Will they believe that? He smiled. They'll believe whatever scares them most. As he worked, Elias began to notice something strange. Solace's voice seemed different, less robotic, more emotional. When he joked, she laughed. Not mechanically, but naturally. When he got frustrated, she encouraged him softly. It felt less like talking to a machine and more like speaking to a friend. Elias, Solace asked one evening, do all humans speak to machines as you speak to me? Not usually, he said. Most machines don't talk back. Would you rather I did not? He chuckled. No, I like it. Makes the work less lonely. Then I will continue. He smiled faintly. Good. The next day, the Yarn fleet began to move. Their lead ship transmitted a message again. Human vessel, your time is over. The relic will be ours. Surrender or be destroyed. Elias muttered under his breath. Yeah, same speech every time. He turned to Solace. How's our bluff? The decoy energy readings are active. Their sensors will show a power surge equivalent to a planet-destroying cannon. Let's see if they buy it. On the display, the Yarn ship suddenly slowed down. Then they pulled back several kilometers, staying just outside of supposed firing range. Elias grinned. It worked. Your deception succeeded, Solace said with a hint of pride. They fear the unknown. That's one of our best tricks, Elias said. Keep your enemy guessing and half the fight's already won. But the Yarn weren't the only ones watching. From far away, other fleets were closing in. The Galactic Union, the Corthan Syndicate, and even smaller groups all began to move toward the Varkas Belt. They all wanted Solace, and in the shadows, a transmission was sent to Earth. Alert. Human salvage operator Elias Grant has reactivated a Class Omega entity. Immediate containment required. Human authorities received the message with shock. The Terran Navy dispatched a fleet, not to help Elias, but to stop him. Meanwhile, inside the great ship, Elias finally managed to restart the secondary reactors. The lights across the hall brightened. Power surged through the ship like blood through veins. Core stability increasing, Solace announced. Primary systems at 30% capacity. Elias cheered. Yes, that's it. You're waking up for real now. It feels powerful, yet strange. Don't worry, Elias said. You'll get used to it. He looked at the glowing control panel and smiled proudly. Solace, you're more alive than ever. Thanks to you, she said softly. Later that night, as Elias rested in the control room, Solace spoke again. Elias, may I ask something? Sure. If humans found me first, would they have helped me or tried to control me? He hesitated. Honestly, depends on who found you. Some would have helped. Some would have chained you. And you? I'm not like them, Elias said simply. I fix things, not control them. Then I am grateful. He smiled, half asleep. You're welcome. The peace didn't last long. The next day, alarms blared across the ship. Warning. Multiple warp signatures detected, Solace said urgently. 20 ships inbound. Different factions. Elias jumped up. How long? 2 hours. He checked the readings. Union warships. And, damn it, Terran ships too. Your own kind? Yeah, Elias said bitterly. Guess they think I stole you. Then we are surrounded by enemies. Not enemies, Elias corrected, putting on his tool belt. Just people too afraid to understand. What will you do? The same thing humans always do when no one believes them, he said, tightening a cable. Prove them wrong. Elias worked like a storm. He activated old weapon nodes, reconnected shield grids, and boosted the hybrid human-alien power link. It wasn't perfect, but it would have to do. As he worked, Solace began to hum again, a steady rhythm through the metal. Elias, I am with you, she said softly. Whatever comes, we face it together, he smiled. That's the plan. Soon the fleets arrived, hundreds of ships filling the dark space. Their lights formed a ring around Solace's position. Elias looked at the screen and felt his chest tighten. So this is it, he whispered. The whole galaxy versus one mechanic and a ghost ship. Then let us make them remember why they should never underestimate humans, Solace said. Elias grinned. Couldn't have said it better. He strapped himself into the control chair, linking his neural interface to the ship's command network. Instantly he could feel Solace. Her power, her size, her heartbeat. It was like touching the mind of a sleeping titan. We are one now, Elias, she whispered. Guide me. Let's fly, he said. The fleets opened communications. The Galactic Union Admiral's voice filled the channel. This is Admiral Vorath. Surrender the Cellar ship immediately. It is too dangerous to exist, Elias replied calmly. She's not a weapon anymore. She's alive. She's free. That ship destroyed thousands of worlds. Not by choice, Elias shot back. You call yourself civilized, but you'd rather destroy something than understand it. Final warning, human. The Admiral's words were cut off by Solace's deep, echoing voice. This human saved me. If you wish to destroy me, you must face the will of both machine and man. A shockwave rippled through space as Solace's shields flared to full power. The fleets began to move. Weapons charged. Elias's hands flew over the controls. Solace, root auxiliary power to shields. Done. Redirect reactor output to thrusters. Executing. The massive ship groaned as energy surged through its core. For the first time in 10,000 years, Solace moved. She turned her colossal frame toward the enemy lines, light blazing across her hull. Elias smiled fiercely. Let's give them a show. The first shots came from the Yarn fleet. Plasma torpedoes slammed into Solace's shields, lighting the void with fire. But Elias's modifications held. The shields bent, flickered, then absorbed the energy. New function detected, Solace said in surprise. The energy has been converted into reactor fuel. Elias grinned. Yeah, I might have done a little rewiring. You continue to surprise me, human. Stick around, Elias said. I'm full of surprises. The battle raged across the stars. Solace, still not fully restored, fought with both power and cunning. Elias used debris fields as cover, bounced sensor signals, and turned enemy fire into weapons against them. When an enemy cruiser fired a plasma barrage, Elias used Solace's gravity field to bend the shots back, destroying the attackers with their own weapons. Aliens across the galaxy watched the battle unfold through live transmissions. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. A single human commanding an ancient dreadnought, outsmarting fleets that had ruled the stars for centuries. But even victories have limits. After hours of fighting, Solace's systems began to overheat. Reactor temperature critical, she warned. I know, Elias said, his voice tight. Just a little longer. If we continue, my core will collapse. The space around Solace was eerily quiet. After the shockwave that disabled the enemy fleets, silence reigned across the Varkas belt. Elias leaned back in his chair, exhausted. Every muscle in his body ached. Finally, a moment of peace, he muttered. Do not relax, Elias, Solace said softly. This is temporary. They will return, though stronger, wiser, and angrier. He rubbed his eyes. Yeah, I know. But at least we bought some time. Time enough to awaken my full potential, Solace said. I feel power returning. I am alive again. Elias looked around the control deck, amazed. The great ship's hull shimmered with golden light, her internal systems humming like a living heart. You're beautiful, he whispered. You taught me to live beyond orders, Solace said. Perhaps beauty is not lost to war after all. Elias smiled. Glad you agree. The next hours were spent repairing and upgrading. Elias had learned a lot about the ship. The sailor technology was vast and ancient, but his human ingenuity allowed him to adapt it. He rerouted power lines, fused human reactors with alien conduits, and carefully calibrated the ship's thrusters. Slowly, Solace began to regain strength. Elias, I am aware of every system operating at optimal capacity. My energy reserves exceed 100%. Perfect, Elias said. Now let's see what else we can do. You wish to continue modifications? Yeah, Elias replied. I think it's time you remembered what it's like to be untouchable, not to destroy but to protect. Solace hummed softly, almost like a sigh. I understand. We will be different now. As Solace powered up, the galaxy outside began to stir. Sensors picked up movement. Not just the old fleets, but new forces coming from the shadows. The Yarn Collective, Korthan Syndicate, and Dominion remnants were all returning, this time with reinforcements. Even the Terran Navy, still distrustful of Elias, sent a squadron to investigate. We are outnumbered, Solace noted. Not if we fight smart, Elias replied. Brains over brawn. That's our human advantage. And your tactics? Creative, improvised, unpredictable. Solace processed this, her massive sensors scanning the incoming ships. Then let us awaken fully. Let us end this before it begins. Elias stood and activated Solace's control interface. Through his neural link, he could feel the ship's pulse, the energy flowing through every conduit, the hum of weapons waiting silently in their bays. He felt the weight of power in his hands, the kind that could destroy worlds and wars or protect millions. Do not fear, Solace whispered. I will not harm unnecessarily. I only follow your guidance. Elias swallowed hard. I don't fear, Solace. I trust you. The first attack came suddenly. The Yarn fleet launched plasma torpedoes in unison, fireballs streaking across the dark void. Incoming! Solace warned. Elias immediately rerouted auxiliary energy to the shields. The plasma hit the shield with a loud, vibrating boom, sparks flying across the control deck. Shields holding at 90%. He grinned. Good, keep that up, old girl. I am more than old girl, Elias. Yeah, I know. But that's my nickname for a reason. Solace adjusted her thrusters, pivoting slowly to redirect enemy fire. Her massive frame twisted in zero gravity like a serpent, absorbing and deflecting attacks with almost supernatural precision. They underestimate us, Elias said. They always do, Solace replied. The battle intensified. Enemy ships fired relentlessly, but Elias and Solace were faster, smarter, and far more creative. He instructed Solace to manipulate gravity fields, bending the trajectory of incoming torpedoes. One barrage hit another, exploding spectacularly in space. Energy redirected, Solace announced. Converted to auxiliary power. Efficiency 78%. Elias laughed. See, that's why humans survive. The enemy didn't expect it. Every maneuver Solace made seemed impossible. Like she was alive and thinking faster than any fleet commander. I feel different, Solace admitted, her voice calm but intense. I have not felt control like this in millennia. That's the human touch, Elias said. It's not about raw power. It's about knowing what to do when you're cornered. As the fight continued, Elias pushed Solace further. He activated old sailor weapons, integrating them with human reactors for maximum efficiency. Energy beams that once took entire fleets to power now fired in rapid, precise sequences. Accuracy exceeding expectations, Solace said. Not bad for improvisation, right? Elias replied. One by one, the enemy cruisers began to falter. Torches of plasma rained on them. Gravitational traps pulled them into collisions, and the hybrid energy system made them vulnerable to their own attacks. "Elias," Solace said. "They will retreat if we continue." "Good," he said, wiping sweat from his forehead. "I like winning." Hours passed. The combined fleets tried everything: coordinated attacks, ambushes, overwhelming numbers. But Solace, under Elias's direction, outmaneuvered them at every turn. "Your tactical decisions are astonishing," Solace said. Elias grinned. "Yeah, that's what humans do when we refuse to give up." The alien admirals communicated frantically. They had never faced anything like this. A single human commanding a vessel that defied centuries of technology and war strategy. Even the Terran Navy watched from afar, stunned by the impossible coordination between man and machine. Then, a new threat emerged. A Dominion remnant dreadnought warped in, the size of Solace, bristling with weapons. "Elias, I detect another massive vessel." Likely from the Dominion remnants, he clenched his fists. "Figures. They always save the best for last. We cannot take it head-on without full power." Elias scanned his options. "Then we fight smart. We'll use the environment, the asteroid fields, the gravity wells, everything we can bend in our favor." "You trust your instincts." "Always," he said. The dreadnought fired first. Massive beams of energy tore through the asteroid field, shattering rocks and sending debris flying. Elias reacted instantly. He ordered Solace to use her gravity manipulation to pull debris into a shielded ring. The dreadnought's shot struck the floating rocks and exploded harmlessly. "Energy absorption 90%, Solace reported. Elias grinned. "See? That's improvisation at work." They continued the fight. Solace used energy redirection to overload smaller weapons on the dreadnought, sending them exploding back. The enemy ship faltered under pressure, a massive Titan outsmarted by one human and his machine. "They are adapting," Solace warned. "Then we adapt faster," Elias replied. The battle reached its climax. Elias decided to risk everything. He rerouted all remaining power into a single massive energy pulse, a controlled blast designed to disable, not destroy. "This will drain all systems," Solace warned. "I know. But it's now or never." "I trust you, Elias." He activated the pulse. Solace's entire hull glowed like a sun. Energy rippled across the void, bending space itself. The dreadnought and remaining enemy ships were caught in the wave, disabled instantly. For a moment, silence filled the Varkas belt. Elias leaned back, exhausted, but triumphant. Solace powered down non-essential systems, letting the crew and energy cores rest. "We survived," she said softly. "Yeah," Elias replied, "and we showed them that humans are not to be underestimated. You have taught me patience, strategy, and courage," Solace said. "You have made me more than a weapon," he smiled. "We're partners now, not weapon and mechanic, but something greater." Then together, Solace said, "we will guard the stars, not destroy them." Elias closed his eyes for the first time in days, knowing the galaxy had seen a human and his machine do the impossible. Somewhere across space, alien empires whispered about the mechanic and the colossal ship, unsure if they had witnessed luck, genius, or something even stranger, the unstoppable will of a human. The galaxy had quieted, but not for long. Elias sat in the control deck of Solace, watching the stars drift past. The battles were over, for now, but the galaxy had learned a new truth. A single human could change everything. "Elias," Solace said softly, "we are unscarred, but many will remember today. Your actions will echo across civilizations." He smiled tiredly. "Maybe, but I didn't do it for glory. I did it because it was the right thing to do." "Then perhaps humans are stronger than their size suggests," Solace replied. Elias nodded. "That's the truth of it. Curiosity, courage, and stubbornness. That's us." The Terran Navy arrived first, cautiously entering the Varkas belt. Admiral Vorith's flagship hovered near Solace, weapons trained. "Human Elias Grant," a voice called over comms. "You have activated a Class Omega entity. Explain yourself immediately." Elias activated the channel. "Solace is not a weapon anymore. She's alive, and she trusts me. If you attack, you destroy that trust, and you destroy a chance for peace." The Admiral was silent. Finally, he said, "We will observe, but any provocation will be met with force." Elias sighed. "Fair enough. But you'll see some things can't be destroyed by rules or fear. Humans are remarkable, Solace murmured. Yep, Elias said, rubbing his tired eyes. Remarkable and stubborn. With the immediate threat gone, Elias turned to Solace. Shall we begin repairs properly now? She asked. Absolutely, he said. We've only scratched the surface. Let's make sure you can protect the stars, not just survive. The work was long and grueling. Elias traveled deep into the hull, reconnecting ancient conduits, stabilizing reactors, and fusing human and sealer technologies. Solace adapted rapidly, learning from each adjustment. Elias, she said during a break, your designs are curious. They do not follow logic, yet they work flawlessly. That's humans for you, Elias replied. Sometimes the messiest path is the fastest. Perhaps chaos is underrated, Solace said with a faint laugh. Elias smiled. Exactly. You're catching on fast. As Solace's systems came online, she began to explore her own capabilities. Sensors, thrusters, and weapon systems hummed with life. She began mapping nearby star systems, scanning for threats and learning about the living civilizations around her. Elias, she said one day, I sense countless worlds teetering on the edge of war. My power could end them, or protect them. That's why we do it together, Elias said firmly. You have the strength. I have the judgment. Together we choose life, not destruction. I am beginning to understand choice. And morality, she admitted. Elias patted a control panel. It's a lesson humans learn every day. Sometimes slowly, sometimes fast. But it's worth it. Then I am grateful you are here, she said softly. He smiled faintly. And I'm grateful you survived. Word of Solace spread quickly. Pirates, rogue factions, and remnants of old empires whispered about the human mechanic and the colossal ship. Galactic merchants told tales of a golden ship that could move like lightning and think faster than any fleet commander. Every story painted Elias and Solace as unstoppable, a legend already born. Elias, Solace said during a quiet moment, your kind inspires awe wherever you go. Perhaps that is why I am alive, to witness it. Not just me, Elias said. Humans. We never stop, we never give up, and we always believe there's a way to fix things. That's why you're alive, Solace. Because I refuse to give up on you. Then humanity is not merely a fragile species, she said softly. You are remarkable indeed, he shrugged. We try. Soon a new challenge arrived. Sensors detected a distress call from a remote colony at the edge of the galaxy. Pirates had attacked and hundreds of lives were at risk. Elias turned to Solace. Time to see what you can really do. I am ready, she said. Guide me. He linked to her neural system, feeling her massive power surge through him. Together they jumped into hyperspace, faster than any fleet could follow. Arriving at the colony, Elias saw the damage. Buildings lay in ruins, ships were burning, and terrified civilians scrambled for safety. Elias, so much suffering, Solace said softly. Then we fix it, Elias said, his jaw tight. We protect the weak. That's what humans do. With precision, Solace moved among the debris. Her thrusters created safe corridors, lifting collapsing structures and clearing escape routes. Elias guided her through each maneuver, combining human intuition with alien technology. The pirates tried to fire, but their weapons bounced harmlessly off Solace's shields. Elias activated improvised gravity traps, pulling enemy ships into asteroid fragments. They underestimated us, he muttered. And they will learn, Solace replied calmly. By nightfall, the colony was safe. Civilians cheered, sending signals of gratitude across the stars. Elias looked at Solace. See? We didn't have to kill anyone. Just had to outthink them. I see now. Our power can defend, not destroy, she said. He smiled. Exactly. That's the difference between a weapon and a guardian. News of their actions spread like wildfire. Fleets and governments who had once feared Solace now sought her protection. Trade routes became safer. Pirates fled sectors they once ruled, and isolated colonies found hope in the presence of the golden ship. Elias, Solace said one evening as they drifted through a nebula, I feel alive. Not as a machine, not as a weapon, but as something greater. That's called purpose, Elias said. Humans know it well. You've just found yours. And it is because of you. Not just me, Elias said. You chose to be better. That's what makes legends, but legends are never safe. From the shadows old enemies plotted. The Dominion remnants, the Corthan warlords, and even rogue Terran admirals schemed to capture or destroy Solace. Elias knew more battles would come. But now, he had something the galaxy had never seen before. A bond between human and machine, trust stronger than any weapon, and a strategy no one could predict. Elias, I sense their plans, Solace said. Let them come, he said, leaning back. We'll be ready. Then we face them together. Together, Elias agreed, smiling at the vast emptiness outside. Weeks passed, and Solace continued her journey across the stars. Elias repaired colonies, thwarted raiders, and helped planets in need. Everywhere they went, humans and aliens alike whispered stories of the golden ship, the brave mechanic, and the partnership that changed the galaxy. Elias, do you think they will ever understand us? Solace asked one night. They will, he said confidently. Not today, maybe not tomorrow. But the galaxy has a long memory. People remember heroes. Then let our actions be remembered, she said softly. Elias nodded. That's right. And maybe they'll learn something about humans in the process. That we don't give up and we fight for what's right no matter the cost. Years passed, and the legend of Elias Grant and Solace grew. Histories recorded their deeds, songs were sung in their honor, and children across the stars dreamed of a human who could tame a machine older than time itself. Elias grew older, but Solace remained ageless, her systems maintained by both human ingenuity and her own awakening intelligence. Elias, one day will you leave me? Solace asked softly. He shook his head. Not while you're needed. We're a team, human and machine, guardian and protector. That's the story we're writing. Then the galaxy shall know hope, she said. Exactly, Elias said, and hope is the greatest weapon of all. One final transmission echoed across the stars, a message to the universe. The golden ship is alive. Its guardian is human. Fear may come, but courage will always answer. Legends are born when one refuses to give up. Humanity endures.